Welcome to another edition of the Not So Intellectual Podcast. We have Montel on the show today. What's up, Montel? How you doing, man?
Hey, good afternoon, Rick. How you doing?
Pretty good, dude. Just chilling out here. Tell me about what you've been doing, man. What's new with you?
Man, I've just been working, been trying to stay out of trouble and all that. So, doing what I can out here.
Hell yeah. I remember the last time we talked about how that whole dog situation. Did anything happen with that dog situation?
Oh, right. Yeah. So I got bit by a dog on my delivery at work, and that was sometime in February. The lawyer says that he'll follow up with me next week about it, and so essentially, the case is going good. So I'm hoping that I'll get like a nice little settlement for it. So
Hopefully.
yeah, it
Fucking
should be
dogs,
very
man.
soon. Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. Just be careful with these dogs, man. I mean, they may seem nice and friendly, but you don't know what their intentions are under the surface, man. It's crazy, you know?
are are you a dog person or are you a cat person?
I'm more of a dog person myself.
Nice.
But being bit by this dog doesn't make me any less of a dog person at all. I just, I put my mindset up to it. I'm just like thinking like, man, I was probably in this dog's domain and he thought that I was just like a random stranger. Well, I was a random stranger to him, but then that's probably the reason why he bit me. It's
That's a
like,
good way to think about it. I mean, you don't. It doesn't sound like you have any like resentment towards the dog.
no, no. I mean, it was all it all happened so fast. Like I didn't think that I didn't think that the first thing in the morning that I would be doing is patching myself up and getting back to work and trying to get to the hospital to get my tetanus shot and all that.
Bruh.
Everything was happening so quick that I couldn't think fast enough to remedy the situation. But you know that's just how it is when
Hell yeah.
you get bit by dogs, right?
I luckily I've gotten like nipped by dogs from time to time when I was growing up. Like you have dogs and as you're kind of growing with them,
Hmm.
you're kind of like learning where the boundaries are. And
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's the only real way to learn, unfortunately sometimes.
Yeah,
Um
like when it happened, like right in the morning, it occurred to me like what was happening. Like I was just it was like my first delivery in the morning, and the customer left the door propped open, and the dog got smart and used his snout to open the door, and he came out and bit me,
shit.
and yeah, it was like it was shocking at first, and then I was like, oh my God, he has his teeth sinked into my leg,
Fuck, dude.
and yeah, it was crazy. It was a little graphic, but I mean, I came back to the depot and patched myself up. All blood was all spurting around, and I still took all my orders right before that, right after that run, and then I came back and I took a break and went to the hospital, got my tetanus shot. They patched me up and then told me to go back home. So, it was a crazy turn of events.
Fucking eventful, man.
Yeah, very eventful. Yeah, yeah,
You watch anime, right?
I do.
What's the latest stuff you've been watching?
I've been reading a lot of Berserk manga lately.
Okay.
I got my Berserk books coming in. I've just been reading it online, but I think it's better to just read it personally. There's nothing better than reading hard copies, like paperback hard copies and stuff. My preference is reading through those types of manga because it's like Berserk doesn't really go that far like the mangas do, and I just want to be able to like be a part of that. And I finished Solo Leveling already too. Solo Leveling is a good anime. People want to get into it. Solo Leveling's pretty legit.
Hell yeah, it is.
Yeah, I haven't really been watching any other anime about that, but I mean, I've been rewatching some of the animes I've already watched, like Cowboy Bebop or Trigun,
Nice.
Inuyasha, some of the older like '90s like animes, like Evangelion. That was a good one too as well.
I
Um,
still need to see Evangelion, man. That's
you still
one
haven't watched that?
I
Wow.
still have
Yeah,
not watched
no,
it, man.
man, that's been out for like almost 30 plus years now, man. You gotta
Decades.
decades, man. It's a good anime. Like I think the creator of that show really wanted to paint a picture about hypersexualizing characters and stuff like that. So there are certain scenes on that show that would over exemplify the intentions for certain characters and stuff like that. And I think that people kind of missed that mark But I mean, you'll realize it kind of like towards the end of it. Like usually it's not like too crazy because most of the shows are fighting giant mecha robots or whatever like that. But it doesn't really get into those types of weird stuff until after like the end of the show and stuff like that. So you know, I appreciate the creator of the show really doing that. You know,
You know, another show that I haven't seen is Hunter x Hunter. That I feel like that one's another proto like everything comes
I
from
heard that
that.
was a really underrated show. I haven't really watched that one yet, but
Mm.
I that was gonna be on the list of things that I was gonna watch too. But I haven't really touched that one yet. Um, but I heard really good reviews about that show.
There's actually a new show that I started watching. It's on Max. It's basically it's set in the world of what you call it, Cowboy Bebop, Lazarus.
Okay. Lazarus, yeah, that was a
Yeah,
new one.
that
I heard
one
about
just
that one.
started. It's fucking
Yeah,
dope, dude.
it's dope. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, all right. I'll definitely watch that. I just saw that on the Crunchyroll, like it was one of the new releases. Yeah, no, I haven't. I don't really have much to say about it. I heard it's a really good show. I would definitely watch it when I have the time to.
Have you seen any of the live action stuff, remakes?
Uh, the live action. I haven't seen any of the live action anime. I heard that the One Piece live action was really good.
Yes.
I haven't seen that one though, but I do have heard I've heard really good reviews about it. I don't know if they came out with the live action Cowboy Bebop. I heard they were talking about it,
No, they
but I
did.
don't know. Oh, they did. Yeah,
Yeah.
see, that's how you know I haven't even watched it. I haven't even bothered to see it. But any other live action? Dragon Ball Z was cool. That one came out in the early 2000s. I've seen that one. And that was cool. Some people don't really like it. I don't know. I enjoyed it. I had no problems with it. Let's see any other animes. Nah, not well. I was gonna say Van Helsing, but there's not really live action with Van Helsing. There's usually like an animated movie that is
Yeah.
adaptation to the anime, but Van Helsing was like one of those shows and movies that it's like an acquired taste. It's all about vampires and stuff like that, and they talk about Alucard and certain like characters and stuff like that that you may recognize.
Nice.
But yeah, but it's a good show if you haven't watched it yet.
No, that's one that and that one I have not seen. Castlevania. Um
Castlevania, there you
the
go.
one
Yeah.
on Netflix. I seen like a couple of episodes in. I still need to keep going with it. It looked pretty dope though.
Yeah, no, you definitely should explore into those types of animes. It's really cool. About Castlevania is funny. I
Nice.
enjoy it. Yeah, it's one of those fun watches.
There was another one. I can't remember the name of this one, but this one got weird. So basically, it's a house, like a mansion that's full of vampires, and
Hmm.
there's this one girl who's basically being passed around as like a fucking cow, like just a drinker. And
Okay.
the shit is kind of weird because the way that it's definitely coded for sex, that they're just passing
Uh,
her around, and especially
yeah,
the way
right.
that she's moaning while she's getting eaten or drinked. It is very like, okay, this is weird.
Yeah, it's
um
weird. Yeah,
this is I can't remember what the fuck it was called. I'm pretty sure people, whoever watches this, are gonna write it in the comments. But
yeah, they're gonna be like,
definitely
it's
there's some
this
wild shit
anime.
out there.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you ever seen a wild anime?
Have I seen a wild anime like a
Yeah,
anime that's wild?
like the shit that I just like explained.
No.
Or like
Oh
Food
man,
Wars. Have you ever seen Food Wars?
I haven't seen Food Wars. No, the
Oh
one
shit,
the one the weirdest anime I've watched is like High School of the Dead, where they come up with like these crazy little physics and shit.
that shit was fun.
Yeah, yeah, it's funny because none of this shit is based on real life
No,
physics. Especially when I don't know, if people in the comments will probably remember this shot, but like basically there's like a sniper that was like being shot or whatever like that, and the bullet goes in between the titties
yeah.
of the girl, and that blew my fucking mind, bro. Like I was I was confused. I was also like I don't even know, man. It was just wild because that was one of the first animes I've watched that like considerably was one of the wildest ones I've seen. Um, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is also pretty bizarre. That's why the Bizarre Adventure
Yeah.
that's the name. Um, let's see, that one, Baki. Baki's probably like within my top three. It would probably be High School of Dead, uh, Baki at third, and then the second would be the other one I just mentioned, Bizarre Adventure. But yeah, if you haven't seen Baki, it's you can watch it on Netflix. It's on there. You can watch pretty much all the series of the Chronicles.
Uh,
Baki's about like a wrestler uh champion or whatever like that. This guy, his name is I forgot his main name, but he's like the strongest dude to ever grace the earth, and people are like training their whole lives to fight this dude.
damn.
And there's different types of fighters that really get too into it. Like some people are fighting their own spirits, they're fighting their own selves. Like there's some people are just fighting other fighters that are just too into the sport. I mean, like you really have to watch it to understand the premise of it, but it gets really weird. Like, I mean, they make an appearance with Iron Mike Tyson, like when he
Oh
was in
shit.
jail. It's crazy. Yeah, it's it's such a great anime. Like it's a huge spinoff of a bunch of fighters and stuff like that. Like I think um I think the takeaway that I got from that show was when like there's a lot of fighting movies and shows like Jet Li or Bruce Lee or Jackie Chan and all that other stuff. I think they're just trying to make fun of how crazy these fighters could be in an anime, and they over exemplified the goofiness of it to where it's like you can't really replicate this in real life, but when you make an anime towards it and make fun of all the real life action movies,
Yeah.
they're just goofing at it. They're just like, oh, look at this guy. He's fighting a ghost of himself or a ghost of Iron Mike or all those. It's just wild to see, and it's a fun anime to watch. Definitely
Interesting.
fun.
I might have to fucking watch Baki. I keep hearing good things
Baki.
about that one.
Hmm.
Another good one that I keep passing up. Um, fucking Tower of God. You ever see Tower
Tower
of
of
God?
God. I don't think I've heard of that one though.
Yeah, Tower of God is pretty good. That's what I keep hearing. I saw a little bit of the first season. I didn't get to see the second season. I heard that it kind of just jumped the ship. But
Hmm.
if you like it, if you like fighting animes, like
I do.
adventure, like violent shit, that one's the way to go.
Hmm.
That's for
Oh
sure.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. No, I'm into all types of anime, man. Like I've watched like Sword Art Online to Demon
Oh shit.
Slayer to all different types of animes, you know what I mean? Like any anime really works. I've been trying to get into like older like vintage anime like from the 80s and from the early 90s and stuff like that. Because I know those are like some of those animes are usually made way beyond its time. And I think a lot of people like lose like the visual aspect of these animes to be crafted the way that it is. It's like the anime that everyone watches, Spirit Away. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
those types of animes that I actually could really appreciate because when it's created in that time period, you gotta understand the amount of hard work that it requires for animators to make a show like this and to make it seamless with the theme and the theatrical aspect of how it's created. It's definitely like it's really good to just admire it, you know.
Yeah.
Uh, it's like what was it? Jujutsu Kaisen, like how beautiful of an anime that it is, like
Oh
all the
yeah.
fight scenes and how it's like seamless and 4K and HD and all that, like you could understand that the amount of work that it took to put into this beautiful anime while exploiting all the animators for the show, but they did it for a purpose to showcase how well defined of a show could be,
Yeah.
despite of the people being exploited. I'm not
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm not advocating taking people's livelihoods and taking away from their families just to make an anime like this, but you could also appreciate at the same time the beauty that came from it, and
For sure.
that's what I could appreciate, like Jujutsu Kaisen's one of those beautiful animes that I could actually sit and watch and be like, yo, this is great,
Yeah, Jujutsu Kaisen was one of those. I still went on to read the manga because I was impatient and I wanted to see what the fuck was about to happen. fuck. Shit gets
Yeah,
crazier and
it gets
crazier.
crazier, crazier, right?
I
Yeah.
loved it
Uh,
though.
some animes that I could actually be a patient for. I usually don't read the anime. Like, I could be patient for Berserk, so I decided to read the anime online,
Yeah.
and it's sick online. And man, it's so dark.
Yeah, dude.
I
Berserk is
wouldn't
one of
I w-
those.
It's one of those Berserk, one of those really dark animes. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody lightly.
Yeah.
Might joke around and be like, "Hey, put on that Berserk," but I'd be joking. Like I wouldn't want nobody to get scarred like as much as I did. Like it's a good scarring. Like you like watching Shigeki no Kyojin. That's the Attack on Titan. That
Mm,
anime, like if you watch the first two episodes of that show,
fucking dark, bro.
as dark as it is, it hooks you though.
Oh yeah,
It's like, damn, I
100%.
want to see what happens next. Like they're at Wall Maria or they're at Raw Rose. Like
Yeah.
it's crazy that because like that anime came from a long period of just crazy stuff that's happened with Eren Yeager and Armin and Mikasa and like joining the Peace Corps, or what is
Yeah.
it, the the core, the people that were killing all the Titans outside of the wall.
Right.
And it's just insane. Like some of these stories, like you think you can't one up it, right? But then there's other shows that kind of just take that and they just like, okay, well, how can I make it more sinister? How can I make it more dark for my audiences to really get inept to it and stuff? But even though this
That's
is not an anime, I think like not the boys, but the
ooh.
Invincible. Invincible is one
Ooh.
of those other shows. I think they took certain dark animes. Like there are a lot of dark animes. Like I can't really name them here, but there's a lot of them that really touch on gore. And gore is like a very sensitive type of category that people
Mm-hmm.
can. It's like one of those shows. Like there's certain shows that like they exemplify like blood and violence
Mm-hmm.
and decapitations and all types of crazy stuff. And like Shingeki, Attack on Titan was already on that precipice, was already eating people and doing all those crazy stuff. But then you got Invincible. It's like, even though it's not an anime, right? It's a
Yeah.
cartoon,
Yeah.
but it's definitely it doesn't it has like an element of anime touch to it. I mean, I'm not gonna spoil it for anybody that hasn't even watched it, but let's just say that you know just watch out for the trains. That's
Mm-hmm.
it. Watch out for the trains. Watch out for the Carnival cruise rides.
It is
It's beautiful and also scary at the same time.
it is a great I'm call it what it is. It's an American anime. Like
Yeah.
it's just like it has that feel to it.
Oh
Um
yeah, man.
it's fucking good, bro. Like that's another one that I went on to YouTube and looked up all these shorts because
Hmm.
people were doing breakdowns of the comic book, and
Hmm.
I got spoiled to see what was going to happen in this universe. So I'm excited for the future. Hopefully they don't cancel this show. I don't see it getting canceled.
I don't see
Let's
it
keep
get
it
canceled
fucking
either.
going.
Yeah, yeah, they're definitely gonna keep that show going just because it's racking in a lot of different views. And I honestly do think this is just like a spectacle. It's
Yeah,
basically a hypothetical. So like like the meme culture of society, like anyone that goes to watch memes on the reels or Instagram shorts or TikTok or anything like that, anywhere you get your memes, you do see a lot of invincible memes out
oh
there
yeah,
that are basically uh, I wouldn't say poking fun more or less than trying to advertise the show by how ridiculous it is by the metric that they go by the power levels of certain heroes
for sure.
in the show. And I do believe that these memes, this culture of memes, are actually going to be better advertisements than actual advertisements that help other companies and stuff like that. I mean, you noticed that a lot of restaurants that use memes to promote their business, like I think you've seen one of my videos for the show. It
Yeah,
was a cow coming out from the toe tip from the truck, and he fell into the ground, and he turned into like some piece of carne asada on the stove. So basically, like if there wasn't any shock value with any of these stupid memes, the people wouldn't realize what's happening, and
Yeah,
they would do their own research to see what that meme comes from, and then that's where they get introduced with the Invincible show and all that. And so that's what I believe is that the culture of memes is basically going to be uh, better than what we could even predict.
for sure.
Yeah,
No, that's a good observation there.
yeah.
Um, growing up, I collected. I love fucking collecting shit. Specifically, I collected Pokemon cards.
Pokemon
Um,
cards. All
I still
right,
fucking
yeah.
collect shit, dude. I still collect. I still have my collection here.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
figuring
are
out.
you one of those ones that get into those fights with those people out there collecting too,
Hell
or
no,
what?
bro. Fuck that shit. They can now go ahead and have that. I'll wait until these motherfuckers die down.
Yeah, I don't know, man. These sculptors out here, man, they're really
Yeah, they're fucking it up for us, man. It sucks.
that's That's why I don't, I couldn't get too much into the culture as much as I am now. I'm an adult. Like I
Yeah,
can't spend much time out there, but I mean I do admire people doing those collections because it's definitely one of those hobbies that it's like you have to really love it to really be doing it.
for sure. Are
Mhm.
you a collector? Did you collect anything growing up?
I used to, yeah, actually, I used to collect Yu-Gi-Oh cards way back in
Hell
the
yeah.
day.
Same. I still
Yeah.
have mine.
Oh, you still have yours? Yeah,
Oh
no,
yeah.
I sold mine a long time ago, but I definitely was collecting like Exodia cards. I was definitely picking up uh was it Blue Eyes White Dragons. I was getting all the other ones too as well. This is like so many years ago. And then I was also collecting uh Digimons. Digimon was like one of those like it's like Digimon was so cool way back in the day. Like I never really talk about it, but Digimon was like my shit way back in the day, man.
I love that shit.
Um
I love Digimon.
yeah, yeah, Digimon was cool, man. I used to collect them on my 3DS and all that, but um yeah, no, I had to get rid of all those because I had a borderline addiction to a video game called World of Warcraft, and
Hell yeah, dude.
I had to sell most of my stuff because I couldn't really pay for my subscription. Basically, like anytime you wanted to play World of Warcraft, you had to pay monthly, and I think at the time was like 10 or 15 bucks a month or something like that.
Oh damn.
And yeah, so I had to sell my cards and stuff so I could keep paying my subscription, and I was a minor then,
Yeah.
so I had to buy like like those cards you get from like 7-Eleven,
Yeah.
like those little cash for debit or whatever like that. So I used to buy those so I could pay for my subscription and stuff. And then at that point, I was playing highly competitive gameplay since then.
God
You know,
damn. Hell yeah,
yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Competitive play. Tell me about that.
Okay, so World of Warcraft came out, I believe, at like 2005 or six like that. That was like vanilla, and that was when Elixir came out. The
Mhm.
Elixir is the name of the dragon that was like the main boss of that expansion. And I got so hooked to the game. I was leveling up my main character is a rogue. It's basically assassin. You go
Nice.
invisible. You apply poisons to your weapons. You're basically a melee hero. You're killing shit and stuff like that. But uh, my main objective for the game, as well as I was competitive, was basically PvP, which is player versus player.
Yeah.
So anytime that you're doing like battlegrounds or anytime you're doing arenas, you're basically playing competitively.
Okay.
And so I would be playing nighttime right after school, like I would be I was doing honors and AP classes, and I was doing track and field, cross country in my
God
off season,
damn.
and at night I was playing World of Warcraft. So I would only get like 3 or 4 hours of sleep right before the race. Like every week we had a race, so like I was competing in real life and in the game. So like
Hell yeah, dude.
my whole life was competitive like throughout my entire endeavor in high school. So like I was racing to compete, and then I was after the race I would go back and compete in like arenas. So arena is basically like 2v2, 3v3 or 5v5, but my main objective was to do 3v3 or 2v2. I never usually touched the fives because it was too intense to have just five people compete with another five people. But
Okay.
my competitive nature took me to a championship, um And basically, they had a LAN party at a computer cafe in Van Nuys Boulevard, and there was a bunch
Nice.
of other people that also joined us into this competitive tournament, and they there were other LAN parties all throughout the world, all at the same time. So we had people from like Germany, we had people from Japan, we had people from China, that were all highly competitive players that were also competing with each other in arenas. Yeah,
Nice.
so I was in a 2v2 with another person. I still talk to him this day, by the way. His
That's
name,
dope.
I'm not gonna say his name, but he's a cool dude. He was a mage. He was a frost mage, and I was a sub rogue. So basically, like mage rogue is pretty high up there.
Okay.
But we ended up getting second in that tournament, and we were in the money for a couple $1,000. We split the money halfway. Japanese won the grand prize of $10,000 at that time.
Damn.
But it was a huge game. We lost, to a Warlock Priest, and Warlock Priest is pretty OP against that comp that I had, and so we could have done any more than that. But then I had to quit the game um, as I left high school. Went into college, and so I quit the game cold turkey in my last year of high school. And in that same year, I actually competed in city. So basically, like when you're competing in track and field or whatever like that,
Mm.
you become so good at the thing after so long, you become better than what you started, right? And so like I was able to compete in city, but I didn't do too well in city because I had gotten sick. I had
Oh damn.
gotten yeah, I got monoscoliosis,
Oh
the
shit.
kissing disease. And so yeah, that's what happens. You can't be backing on nobody, and expect not to get any diseases, right? But I got it the worst, man. I missed out like 2 months of school.
Damn.
And I was taking a whole lot of AP classes and honors classes. I was trying to keep up. I try to I by the time we didn't have Zoom back then, we had Uvu and
Oh
and
wow.
and what was the other one? Skype.
Yeah.
I was Uvuing and Skyping my teachers because I told them like, dude, I'm dying over here. I don't want to lose my grade. And I was doing that, trying to keep up with my studies, trying to keep up with the AP test. I made it to the AP tests. Like I would show up and I would take the test and I would barely kind of like quasi pass, but whatever. But that I learned so much from that experience. I would like to tell people that don't matter what you go through in your endeavors, don't ever quit. You
Yeah.
know, there's always a new day, there's always a challenge, there's always something to look forward to. But in the wake of the madness and the darkness that I was in, I couldn't bear the fact of losing. So I my will to win was stronger than my will to die. So
Dude.
I because that's how competitive I was. I don't want to lose. Like who plays a game to lose, bro? Like
That's a
that's
good point.
bullshit.
Yeah. If
Yeah,
you're gonna fucking
exactly. So
compete,
like
you're gonna compete to win.
I would have to say the competitive nature of how I am is the reason why I'm still alive and how I survived those outcomes. Um, and yeah, the competitive games I also play besides Call of Duty is also Battlefield. And I don't know if
Okay.
anyone knows anything about Battlefield. I'm sure people in the comments will know. I used to play Battlefield, Bad Company 2 very competitively. And in that time, Bad Company 2 was a huge game. Everyone was like, collecting attachments for the guns. They're collecting guns. They're attaching different types of weird skins for the guns, weird skins for the operators,
That's
and
cool.
I collected. I think I was a completionist in that game before I quit. I think I got 100% on everything on that one. But
Dude.
yeah, no, I was playing that in my off time and played that to like college. I think my first or second year of college, and then I quit that game because it got boring to me. Like after a while, like you've seen it all, you've done it all. There's nothing really much you can like learn from the game. And then I think I took a hiatus from WoW and Battlefield for so long, and then I started getting into a mobile game called Mobile Legends Bang Bang. It's a mobile game, basically like I don't know if you ever played God, why am I blanking out on the names? Um League of Legends.
League of
You
Legends.
ever play League of Legends? You ever heard of that game?
I've heard of the game, never played it.
All right, so basically, like League of Legends It's a 5v5, and there's three different lanes, and each lane have their own attributions for each character that you choose to play. Like an AOC is basically like a hunter or like a marksman, or basically a long range character that you can use. And they're typically either the bottom lane or the top lane, whatever type of lane has the most gold farm. And then you have your tanks. Basically, what it is, a tank is like a damn, how do I even explain a tank? A tank is like a beef dude that doesn't really die off that often.
Okay.
You know, like you need a tank to really absorb all the aggro, all the aggression from all the PVEs and the other people that are also coming towards you. The tank is also supposed to roam with either the jungler. And the jungler is the hyper person that usually farms the jungles and gets the most gold throughout the entire ordeal and try to gank each lane. So you might be ganking AOC lane or
Mm.
mid lane, like where the mages are. Mages are basically the people that are using magic users, also use range. And then you have your support class, basically like the ones that are healing you or helping you, farm and get through your lanes and stuff like that. So basically, it's a very complex way to play the game. But as you
Sounds
play it,
cool.
it becomes it becomes a lot simpler as you keep playing the game. But I was playing Mobile Legends because it was a a mobile game that I could play easily. And I didn't play the other games. I didn't have a PlayStation at the time, and I didn't have an Xbox, and I definitely didn't have a PC at this point, but definitely a few years before I got the PC, I was definitely playing Mobile Legends, and I got really intense to that game. I was really highly competitive. I was number two Valier, which is a mage, number two Valier in the United States, and
Ooh.
so
Oh shit.
yeah, so yeah, it got really intense at that point because I was competing with other players that were also highly competitive as well, that with other characters in the game, and other heroes had different types of attributions and other types of like animations and stuff like that, but they all essentially do the same thing under basically under class or whatever like that. But I was basically a mage going mid lane, and I was number two in the United States. I think I was playing for about almost a year or two when I got to that point. Then I realized I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna start playing competitively. And I met a lot of different people all around the world that also play the game competitively as well. I still talk to some of them to this day. And it was crazy to just like really be met with all these people because they were all just like pretty much like the same type of people that I was. They were all basically they all just wanted to win.
Yeah.
And so, like after that, I had a falling out with certain groups of people, and I just stopped caring about the game because after like, they say like after game 6 or 7,000 games, like in the game, like you could play as many games as you want, but after like 7 or 8,000 games, you start losing care for it.
Mm.
And I think at this point, I think I have like if I go to my profile now, I probably have about 12,000 games. Um, yeah, no, I just don't really care much about the game. Like I went from number two Villiers to like who gives a damn about the game anymore?
That's pretty wild.
But when I do come back to the game though, I do play a character named Grok. Grok is he's a beefy tank. He's one of the strongest tanks in my opinion
I
in the
see.
game. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm trying to get number one with him, but I don't really play it all that often to really care much about the game because now I have a PC. And now so the PC story, I
Mm.
built my own PC. So like in the
Nice.
pandemic, yeah, so basically in 2020, TikTok was huge,
Yeah.
and I was like watching TikTok and stuff like that. I was watching all these other content creators and all these people like with all the lights and stuff like that. They're just like, hey, build your PC. I was watching other streamers stream, and it wasn't like I was jealous. It was like, damn, like I had like FOMO, like I was
Yeah,
missing
dude.
out. I was missing out on a lot of shit, so I was like, I don't want to keep missing out on opportunities that I could, really just get for myself. And so I decided to build my own PC. So I was working two jobs at that point. I think I was working two different Domino's locations, and I was making a lot of money. So what I decided to do, and that was when we were getting like, was it the checks, the stimulus
Oh, the
checks?
stimulus checks.
Yeah, so I had gotten a hand sack of tips. I got the few checks from two different jobs, and I got the stimulus check, and I put it all together. and I decided to put a bunch of money in a lot of electronics that are here right now. You know,
Nice.
the microphone, the camera, the light, the ring light that's around the camera. I got the PC over here, the second monitor over there.
Nice.
Then I got two different desks. I also bought me a camera that I'm actually working with now. Like I've been working with this camera since I bought it. Um, and it's crazy, you know, like this camera has been giving me a lot of different opportunities with a lot of different types of people.
Nice.
Um, and yeah, no, and ever since I got the computer, I started playing like Warzone. I was playing Warzone. I wasn't playing Warzone competitively, but I was playing it hardcore though. That was a really great game. Like ever since during the pandemic, I was playing with a lot of different friends of mine and stuff like that. We were just like passing the time playing Warzone. And then after that, I got into Apex Legends.
Mm-hmm.
It's another FPS game. It's basically like a BR, which is battle royale, basically.
Right.
Uh, Different types of legends that all have different types of abilities. And my main character was Caustic's. He's a tank. He's like a gas tank. So basically, you can put like these little gas things, and it causes an AOE effect, which is an area of effect, causing people to lose health like slowly, and it slows them down. You know, and it's crazy. You know, he's a good tank of mine. And then I just started using Fuse, which is another. He's not a tank, but he's more like an artillery guy or whatever. He likes bombs. I usually throw bombs at people, so I don't have to necessarily be close to him to do damage to him. I can just be launching bombs at them, and it's
Nice.
cool, you know. And yeah, so like after that, I started getting the itch again to play WoW, and so I got back into the game, and shortly, I think it was literally less than 40 or 50 days, I got back into doing competitive. Like I leveled up my rogue from 1 to 70 in like I think it was 4.5 weeks. I'm not entirely sure. I did a whole stream doing it all the way through.
God damn.
And yeah, that's part of the stream why I got into it too. I'll explain that after. So I got it back into it. I found a few friends on a server called Moonguard, and
Ooh.
a bunch of my friends that I've realized that were actually really good at the game too as well. I've learned from them, and I've actually was like crafting my skills to adapt to the new way of the game because I took a hiatus for like 11 years from WoW, and I still kept a lot of the skills that I still possess, and I got duelist with before the end of the season of Shadowlands. I think it was season two, and that's a huge achievement. Like not many people that take a hiatus from the game like that can ever come back and become a 2-1 rogue, like a duelist rogue. It's damn near almost impossible to even get to where I was because I started the game late and I
Yeah.
still made it through before the end of the season. And so, like
Good shit.
a lot of people will give me shit for it. It's like, oh, you only got duelist in the second season. It's like, dude, I started at the end of season one. So how was I able to level up a character
Yeah.
from the 2 or 3 weeks and then level up enough to where I got enough conquest to get the gear, get somebody help me out to get to rival, get better gear after that, then get duelist right after rival within the same season. It's crazy. You don't hear it from nobody else, but. I mean, you may hear it from some people, but
Yeah.
not like the 90% of the people that like to get duelist, right? From passing that threshold, you're already better than like 80 to 90% of the players that are playing the game.
I see.
So like that percentile basically essentially tells you that you are better than 20 to 10% of the players, or you are within the 10 to 20% of better players that are above everyone else that also plays the game, not as competitively, but are also in that same bracket, you know? So, and it just allowed me to realize that I still got it, you know?
Yeah. No
And
ring
so
rust.
what, yeah, and then what got me into streaming, so I had a friend, or I still he's still alive today. Actually, it was a good old friend of mine. He was in the same fraternity as I was when I was in college, and he put me into this Discord server with a bunch of other streamers, and I got acquainted with a lot of different streamers that I was talking to. Like everyone that was in that Discord server were also streaming along with him,
Hmm.
and they were playing Rocket League though. I don't play Rocket League, but I do like watching them play. So I was watching them as as I was like working on the street and stuff like that, making a little extra money. This was before I bought the PC, and then I fell in love with how that how they got into character and was streaming with other people that were also streamlining with like hundreds of other people all throughout the week. And so I just got so used to seeing them stream, and I decided it was like, you know what, I'm gonna do what they do. I'm gonna see how it is. You know, I'm gonna get into it. And then so I got the PC, and then I started streaming. I think that same week, and then I was streaming Warzone. I was streaming um, Apex. I was streaming WoW. You know, and then I got really into it. And then I think 2 or 3 months after I started streaming, I got affiliate. Basically,
Nice.
affiliate is like the next stage of Twitch. So like basically anyone can start a Twitch account and they could just have like the basic accessibilities that they give you, right? But
Mm.
when you get affiliate, you unlock like donations, you unlock subs and stuff like that. And basically like you can do whatever you want. The sky's the limit. But my next goal is to get partner, and that's why I'm doing this 100-day challenge. Is because not only am I streaming on Twitch, I'm also streaming on Kick. I'm streaming on TikTok. I'm streaming on YouTube. I'm streaming on
Mhm.
Facebook. I'm streaming
Let's
everywhere.
go.
You know what I mean? So what my purpose of multi-streaming was to essentially um, be omnipresent in all these other platforms because some people don't use like Twitch, some people don't use Rumble, some people don't use Kick. But if I'm everywhere all at once, I could get a larger audience that I could garner all these types of people and stuff. And that was my whole intention is to get back into streaming because I did take some time off. I think I'm on my second year now since I haven't streamed because I was just going through a crazy time. Um, and I had to go through my element, and so I decided, I need to take some downtime and really get back into streaming again because that was morally the reason why I was so fitted to become a competitive player is because I wanted to compete and have other people watch me be a part of this, experience and then have other people experience the same thing I'm going through. It's also the same thing that they're watching me go through. So it's like I want to be able to try to feed off my competitive energy to a lot of different people that probably would need it or that
Yeah.
are, asking for it. And so yeah, I mean, I compete. Any game you got me playing, I'll play it. And I'll play it the best of my ability. And yeah, to do the whole damn thing, man. You
Hell
know.
yeah, dude.
So
Um,
I stream. I'm gonna be starting the 100-day challenge. So the 100-day challenge, right? Essentially is it's like a goal that I was talking to my brother, rest in peace. But my brother wanted me to try to do this 100-day challenge. So this 100-day challenge is essentially 100 days to change your life for the better. And so like basically this could mean anything. Like, anyone that wants to change their life financially, some people that want to change their life physically, or some change their lives mentally. I'm trying to do all three all at once. And
nice.
to stream every day is to document the journey and make sure that I look past the documents and be like, okay, well, at least I'm 1% or 2% better than I was yesterday. Now I'm actually looking forward to doing something better. And then within that time period, and I'm able to try to better myself, I'm also trying to feed off that energy to other people that might be looking for it. And so how this will work is that I will be streaming in multiple platforms and I will be, you know, uh titling the I'll be titling the stream like day one of 100-day challenge. I'm gonna be pushing rank or pushing this game, pushing, whatever. Or I might do a let's chat or whatever like that, or I might react to a certain video or something like that. And
Okay.
then I will be talking about certain things that I do as far as like professional work field. But I will also be talking about like financial stuff too as well, like credit scores, and how people could save money or how they could like better use that money and stuff like that.
Nice.
But I'm not a financial advisor. I am not a professional. Please do not take my advice. Please do your own research. I am just a guy that it works for me and it can also help and work for other people.
Hmm.
Basically, I'm going to be explaining the implications of what I do, right? That I try to do better for my life, and then that could be something that people could like really watch and observe and be like, wow, this guy really did change his life in 100 days. Yeah, that was the point. So 100 consecutive days, all up most of the summer up until August, and then I go on my trip to Amsterdam for 2 weeks, and I'm just gonna go on hiatus from there, and then I'm gonna start a regular stream service or regular stream schedule from there after I come back to the States. So
Fuck yeah.
yeah, it's gonna be intense. I'm pretty excited about this. A lot of people have been supporting me and are really, they're really cheering me on about this whole thing. And so yeah, that's the plan, man.
I'm excited to see this journey, man. I'm gonna subscribe. I'm gonna check out your journey there because I
Yeah,
honestly, yeah, it is inspiring. It is something that we can all do in like self improvement.
yeah.
Um, it's not an easy thing.
Nope. And I'm gonna make it easier for everybody too as well. Like if anyone wants to watch the journey, they can also just tune into my Instagram. I'm gonna have like a link tree there, and that
Nice.
link tree is gonna take you to like a different URL to a browser or whatever like that. It's gonna show you all the streaming platforms. I'm going to be streaming simultaneously all throughout the entire journey, and whatever streaming service you're comfortable with using, you can just click on that and you can just watch me live anytime that I'm on. And yeah, man, it's definitely gonna be one of those journeys where I'm just gonna try to like see if this test works, and if it does work, hopefully, it's gonna be glorious, man. I'm pretty excited about it.
Nice, dude. Nice. I guess the last question I would want to ask you is,
Mhm.
are you a cinematographer? Like, how'd you get into like learning how to like
Oh man,
like
this a
frame
long
and all
this
that?
is a long story, man. Long story. All right. So, all right, I'll tell this story.
All
Okay,
right,
okay,
cool.
okay. All right. So, I was like a poor, young, impressionable, young. I said young twice. I was a person, an individual. I was a teenager, in college, but I was broke.
Mm-hmm.
And my first job that I ever got was Little Caesars, right?
Right on.
Which is crazy because my ex at the time, her friend got me the job, and I was so grateful for this job, but at the same time, I was miserable as this job. I was the doughboy, right? If
Okay.
anyone has ever been to Little Caesars, or if you ever know anyone that's worked at Little Caesars, ask them about what the doughboy does. I'll tell you exactly because I was the doughboy, right? So what it is that like the dough that has been made for the pizzas that you guys buy is made by a doughboy, right? So there's a process to how it's made. There is I'm not, well, I didn't sign no NDAs. I don't work at Little Caesars no more, so I really don't care. So
Oh,
there's a
I'll help you out.
machine.
I'll help you out. Allegedly.
Yeah. So I mean, this was like fucking 14 years ago. So like, I don't know if the process is the same anymore. But let's just say allegedly, right? This
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
machine it's like a turn-baster thing, right? And you put a bunch of flour, you put a little bit of water into it or whatever like that. It's a little bit of oil, and then it mixes into like a giant blob of dough, right? You
Right
take
on.
this blob. By the way, this blob is like 80 pounds, and
God
I
damn.
have to keep pulling out. Yeah, so. I was really buffing that one because it's like I kept making dough all day. And so I took it out. You portion out the dough. So you cut it with like a little cutter thing and you cut it into little pieces and you cut it into like, I think it's like 16, 18, or 12 ounces. Basically, all the different sizes, like you got medium or small or large pizzas or whatever like that. So the dimensions of the ounces are different based on the size of that you're making it in, right? So,
Okay.
big trays and stuff like that. So like I was making dough all day, all night up until like closing time, and then like my uniform would be like drenched in oil, dark, dirty oil, and
Mm-hmm.
I would be working all day, all night, or whatever like that. And then so, meanwhile, my family, my grandfather is a very successful general contractor here in California. He migrated here from a country called Dominica, which is the flag that you see right here. I'm repping Dominica, my country right here.
Hell yeah.
Anyway, and so basically, there was a client, my very first client that I talked to. His name is Judy Locks. Big ups to Judy Locks at Central Watches in Beverly Hills. Y'all buy your watches there. Anyways, so basically, like, I picked up my camera from him first, and I didn't know exactly what I was doing because I've never really held a camera before, and he wanted me to like record him at his like studio sessions or whatever like that. And I don't know, it felt weird, but I did feel a presence of like yearning, like this is something that I wanted to do, but I didn't know how to really approach it. So I had a friend, my boy Arturo, big ups to Arturo Lugo. He invested in my first camera that I first gotten. It was the T3i Rebel Canon. And
Okay.
so I decided to use that camera as I was working at Little Caesars. I was taking pictures, and I was really, I from that point, I was taking really good pictures. Uh, Even though I was an amateur, I was still actually I was getting really good results. Like I would be going to the beach with my friends, taking pictures of like the nature, taking pictures of other people, like other like small time artists and stuff like that.
Nice.
Um, you know what I mean? And I just really got used to taking pictures of people. And then after that, I was like, okay, good. I had a couple months on my belt. I wanted to see who I could reach out to. And we had a friend, um what was his name? uh wow, it's blanking out on me. It's gonna come back to me, but he was a good high school friend of mine. He was actually in the same track team as I was in high school, and he was a shot putter. If I can remember his name, I'll get back to you on that. I think his name is Michael. Yeah, Michael. Anyway,
Big ups.
he yeah, big ups to Michael. So yeah, my boy, I haven't talked to him in years, but I wonder how he's doing and stuff. I haven't spoken to him in like so long. Anyway, so yeah, so he introduced me to Brian way back in the day. That's how me and Brian know each other, is from film. And Brian, he was a well-known creative director, and so he got me in touch with him, and I was already kind of like still an amateur novice at this point, and I was like, hey, I have this person named Judy Locks that wants to do a music video for one of his songs.
Nice.
And then we decided to do a contract with him, and then we met up with him at a Starbucks near Crenshaw Boulevard, right next to my grandparents' house. By the way, my grandparents was the landlord of Judy Locks. He was already renting from us, but I was just a fucking poor. I was a poor freaking amateur photographer slash Little Caesars worker at that time. And then I took some time off. I decided to do this video stuff, and it was great. We had a great production. There was a lot of different people there. I could probably name most of them. Vivian was there. Wesley was there. We had a person named Tony, which is Jen. Terry was there. Myself, Brian, and Michael was also there too as well. We all decided to like do all this like this huge project for Judy Locks and stuff like that, and it was a great success. You could definitely see the video, I think today, on YouTube or whatever like that. This video is like 11 or 12, 13 years old or whatever like that, but it's still up. And
Nice.
and yeah, after that whole ordeal, man, I was like, this is what I want to do. And I literally quit Little Caesars, and I was like, yeah, nah, fuck this job.
Nice. Hell yeah.
um, and yeah, and then I started to do I started to do the photography thing at full time. So right after the video, I've connected with a lot of different people that was able to give me real life skills to with the camera that I was using, the T3, and I gotten jobs in Hollywood. My grandmother, grandfather's wife, my godmother, she knew a person named um wow, why? It's like I'm so bad with names.
Same, bro. It happens.
Yeah. Once these names come back, I'll definitely remember. Um, she is the co-CEO of Wet PR in Beverly Hills. Wet PR is basically a production company that hires like freelance photographers and videographers to help them, uh, basically photographize a bunch of people, like a bunch of actors and celebrities that come in. And at that time, that was my first ever gig that got me paid a lot of money.
Nice.
And yeah, it was a blessing because man, thank God, like my grandparents are Jehovah Witnesses and know a lot of different people because they helped me out, man. They definitely did. I took a picture at that point. I think it was a showcase for the Sons of Anarchy show. There were
Okay.
different all the actors, all the directors, and some of the other friends also came by. Celebrities were taking pictures and stuff like that. And yeah, I took some pretty good pictures there. And then times were rough after that because that was like the highlight of it all. But then there were no other videos that I was working on. There were no other things that I was doing and stuff like that. And then, shortly as it came to being the generic poor photographer, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, my highlight didn't go that far after the wet PR, and then so like I got poor, I was homeless at one point, and then so um I I had to cut loose from doing photography for a little bit, and I started working at Domino's at like 21. And I at that point, I was making a lot of money, and I was like, yo, I'm gonna get whatever I ever wanted,
Hmm.
and work hard to try to get to that point, and yeah, after that, we started seeing more clients. We had a lot of different artists that came by. Big ups to Gracious Fresh, big ups to Praise, also known as Danny Zico, big ups to Razor, big ups to everybody else that were also a part of the whole journey as well. Like we had a different projects with each of these artists, you know what I mean? And we
That's
decided to
awesome.
like work together to do these projects and stuff like that. And then so yeah, no, I just fell in love with it. I learned. I've got so in love with it. I switched out my minor
Hmm.
from English literature for Pan African Studies to digital photography, and so
Wow.
I've learned a lot in CSUN. And so like, I got all this knowledge. I was in a red room for so long. I know how to develop film and all that. So it's crazy. Like it's wild that I came from just an amateur um to what I am now. Like I'm definitely doing video more than I am doing photography, but I do photography every once in a while now. But I just been doing work. I've been taking pictures. There's a few album covers that I have that are under my belt too, as well for certain artists. Um, definitely a few videos. But I do love doing videos more than I ever did photography, and I there's a newfound love for it. That's why I'm able to. I purchased the camera that we all use for the videos, because the person that was the director of photography, Terry, he hung up his position and he was selling all of his equipment, and I decided to purchase all of his equipment. And that transition where I told you about the stimulus checks and
Yeah.
the money and all that stuff, that transition from him becoming DP became me becoming DP. And owning all the stuff. I owned the camera that he owned when we were working with all the cameras with the projects and stuff like that. Now
Wow.
I have the baton to work with other artists and other people and whatever else that I'm doing with my spare time. And so, it's great. And I've been purchasing a lot of different camera equipment. I bought me a monitor for the camera. I bought me a Ronin, which is basically a gimbal. I'm sure you've seen the gimbal
Oh
before.
yeah.
If not, I mean, I can show you on film here. Hold up, let me see if I can pull it out. Oh, it's heavy. I got this little Ronin here,
Dope.
my camera and stuff like that. I got like a bunch of wires and stuff. This is a Sony A7 III with the Gimby, the Ronin RS3 Pro with the new monitor here. It's called the Shinobi 2 from Atomos. Big ups to
L-
Atomos.
Looking
Uh,
fucking dope, dude.
yeah, man, and yeah, I never really thought I would ever get this far, man. To be quite honest with you, I still think that I'm like using the same T3, but I got rid of that T3 a while ago. I gave it to somebody that wanted to use it and stuff like that. Big ups to my boy Mikey. He owns like a bunch of rental cars that he's using to, showcase a bunch of people to, rent from and stuff like that, which is great. I'm still working with him today. Been trying to get some time to work with him, but it's been pretty hard since I got a lot of work to with a lot of different people and stuff. So it went from me being a poor photographer, from me being a struggling to squeeze work in with a lot of different people photographer type thing, like i
Yeah.
i went from having no work, struggling with no money, to struggling with a lot of work, struggling with you know struggling with a lot of different things happening all around, so this whole summer is going to be like that. Like I told you, the 100 Day Challenge is also going to incorporate my whole life not just the internet life that I do for competitive gameplay. It's also going to be the competitive professional field that I'm in. So
Nice.
like it's definitely gonna translate well with my demeanor, my persona, my personality with when it comes to the competitive aspect of my entire life. So, like I admire other photographers, and I'm not the best. Certainly not the best. I do follow a lot of different photographers that are from the Southern California, from other places around the world and stuff like that. And I don't consider myself the best, but I do consider myself the most competitive. So if I'm able to like learn from other people and usually like adapt to the ways of their skills, and I could just take their skills and then apply it to my skills and then just tweak it up a little bit, and maybe like I can articulate a way that other people can understand. So like video stuff is easy for me to ascertain and learn, but for other people, they don't know anything about a lens, they don't know anything about ISO, aperture, shutter speed, all that other crap. You know what I mean? It's
Hmm.
like they only know how to turn it on and flat and click the button. That's it.
Right.
But what I'm trying to do is I want to be as transparent as I can to alleviate the pressures of ignorance when it comes to film and stuff like that. So I wanted to try to teach people how to pick up their first camera and essentially be good with it and stuff like that, and at least learn the essentials, the fundamentals to use the camera. So yeah,
Nailed
man. I
it.
mean, I picked up the cameraman, and I didn't think, like I told you, right? I didn't think I was gonna get that far,
Yeah.
and look at me now, man. It's crazy, like it's definitely one of those wondrous things, man. Like you gotta at least try something, and then if you really love it, man, just go really far with it. You never really know where you're gonna end up, man. Uh, yeah,
Hell
man.
yeah.
Big ups to people that don't give up on their dreams, dude. Like you could give up on your dreams, and then when you get older, you start realizing, man, I never really. That's my biggest regret is giving up on my
Mm-hmm.
dreams, man. Like they'll ever succumb to the pressures of life, man. That's it.
I love the message, Montel. I love the journey that you're taking yourself in. I'm excited
Hmm.
to see the stream and your YouTube channel. Most likely, right? You're gonna have a YouTube channel.
Yeah, so I
Um,
have a YouTube channel, I have a Rumble, I have a Kick, I have a TikTok. Um, I'm
nice.
trying to stream on Facebook too as well, but Facebook is getting kind of snippy about Facebook gaming. I have to have the account for 60 days, and I just made it like a couple weeks ago. So I'm definitely going to be mostly aware, mostly everywhere when I get those types of accessibilities. But rest assured, I am everywhere, and there's different names of the same person because I could use the underscore Afro Ninja underscore in all the other platforms, but I do. I'm gonna have like I told you, I'm gonna have a link tree for everyone to follow me. So
Hell yeah.
wherever you watch your streams, you can definitely see me wherever it is, man.
Hell yeah. I
That's
wanna
right.
I wanna thank you for being on the podcast. Go ahead and let the people know where they can find you.
Yeah,
Um,
man. Yeah. So y'all can find me on the underscore Afro Ninja underscore on Instagram. That's mostly where I'm at right now. All the streams are basically under construction at this point, but definitely within the time that I'm ready to stream, which will be in the next couple of days.
hell yeah.
You guys will be able to find me everywhere. So just be on the lookout for the link tree, be on the lookout for the stories, be on the lookout for the messages, because I'm definitely gonna be on every day.
Montel's
And
coming.
stay tuned. That's
Hell yeah.
right.
Be sure to subscribe, be sure to like and follow the journey.
That's
um
right,
you
baby.
you can follow the podcast Not So Intellectual Podcast on Spotify. You can also follow the podcast on Instagram. You can find it under Not So Intellectual Podcast. You can follow me, NSI Rick, on YouTube, Kick, Twitch, and I believe I think that's the only thing I'm doing right now.
Okay.
Also, social media, you can find me under NSI Rick almost anywhere. Me and Montel play this game called Made You Look here on the NSI Rick channel on YouTube. Be sure to tune in for those episodes. Yeah, let's see who gets this championship. Hell yeah. Thank you very
All
much for
right, my
tuning in.
man.
See
Thanks,
you guys next
thanks for
time.
having me.
Hell yeah.
Peace out.
Peace out.